So I think we're ready to start. So hi, everyone. So I'm Danni from GivePanel, and this is the lovely Canteen team who'll be introducing themselves to you shortly. So we've got a great session. We're going to go through their experience with Facebook challenges. And I've just got a little deck that I'm going to share. So hopefully everyone can see that. Panelists, can you give me a thumbs up? You can see it, right? Perfect. So we're going to be taking you through how Canteen have raised over 1 million via Facebook challenges by creating a hyper-engaged community. So in this session, we'll be looking at how Canteen was one of the first GivePanel customers to run Facebook challenges in Australia. So as a charity, GivePanel have been working in the UK for about 3 or 4 years, but quite recently here. And one of Canteen's amazing challenges, which was actually delivered this year, raised over 600,000, which was with the partner Elevate Fundraising. And in this session, Canteen's going to take you through why they invest in Facebook challenges, how they resource a challenge, the top tips for engaging supporters throughout every stage of the challenge journey and beyond. So just quick little introduction. So I'm Danni, so I head up the strategy and development for GivePanel Australia. So GivePanel is a platform and a support team that allows charities to better manage, communicate with, retain and grow Facebook fundraisers. So at the moment we work with about 400 non-for-profits in 15 countries. And I'll pass on to my lovely panelists.
Cool. I'll start first, since I'm next. Hi, I'm Lizzy, and I'm part of the community fundraising and events team at Canteen. There, I'm the digital peer-to-peer fundraising campaign specialist, and I've been in this role for about a year now.
Hello, my name is Caitlin. I'm one of the community fundraising coordinators here at Canteen, and I've been at Canteen for about a year and a half. And that's me.
Perfect. And actually, the screen's just disappeared from me, so I'm so sorry. If you give me 1 second. Oh dear. Perfect. I've just got to close a couple of tabs and then it'll come back hopefully. Sorry about that. I'm going to try the share again. There we go. Hopefully that's worked. Perfect. So before we jump into the team, who's going to take you through everything, I'm going to take you through the Facebook challenge journey. So this is the kind of journey that we recommend that challenge participants that you take them on. And it starts off basically with a Facebook lead ad. So a very simple creative, generally that's focused around the challenge, but also why you want people to take this challenge in your cause. Then there's a Facebook lead form, which is in the ad. That's just a very simple data capture form. And we use that ad type because it's one of the best to then go through to the Facebook group. Once in the Facebook group, they'll have a welcome post. And in that welcome post, they'll be able to register for the event and set up their fundraiser in one click, as well as learning more about the challenge. How we encourage people to register, what we recommend is to use an incentive, because that means you get full data capture because you need their address to send it to them. So incentives have been everything from t-shirts. We've also seen bucket hats, and one charity is doing an advent calendar at the moment. And once they fill out that registration form, it goes directly into GivePanel. Then they set up their fundraiser in one click, and within GivePanel, you have messaging tools, which mean you can send them on-page messaging and also email them directly for the system. Canteen also did a lot around group posts in the Facebook group, as well as additional emails, calls to supporters and SMS, which they're going to talk through today. So you'll notice a key part of the funnel is the Facebook group, and this is something we get quite a lot of questions on. So why is it such an important part of challenges? I mean, one of the main things is that it's a very easy way to encourage and support your challenge fundraisers throughout the challenge. So if someone asks a question, you can respond and everyone sees it. It's also great to create a real sense of community and people get excited about doing the challenge. There's high engagement rates. So people are used to checking Facebook several times a day. They'll get notifications from the group. And it's quite easy to moderate, although it can be time consuming. And the resource is something that Canteen is going to talk about today. Also, the main thing is that this is a real chance to build a strong and often direct relationship with future supporters so that you can then take them on, post the challenge onto different journeys. And that's something we're also going to touch on. So without further ado, I'm going to pass on to Lizzy and Caitlin.
Perfect, thank you. Well, I'll start off first. Firstly, on behalf of Caitlin and myself, I really wanted to thank you all for having us along today. We're really incredibly proud of our Facebook challenge campaigns that we've had so far and how we engage and steward our fundraisers. So we're really excited to share some insights with you. So first off, how did we land on using Facebook challenges as a new fundraising stream and why? Well, for starters, as you all know, almost all in-person events were cancelled due to COVID in 2020 and 2021. So like most people, we were looking for new ways to do some peer-to-peer fundraising during this period of time. We also wanted to test and learn something new. Canteen has been around since 1985, so it's been around for a bit and we're always looking for something new and innovative ways to introduce new people to Canteen, welcome back those who know us from previous channels, and also fundraise in a fun way. Another reason why is actually innovation. It's actually one of our strategic pillars at Canteen. So we're very fortunate to have a board that supports channels that aren't necessarily established in Australia, like Facebook fundraising. And so very, very lucky to have them have our backs in becoming one of the first charities in Australia to run one of these challenges. So that's huge for us. Another reason for the why is that we initially became aware of Facebook challenges and their success through whisperings from abroad. We heard about charities in the US and in the UK that really found these challenges to be super engaging campaigns, and it really helped us make this decision. And lastly, it then came recommended by the team over at More Strategic, who kindly introduced us to the wonderful team at GivePanel. And next slide, and this is what led us to our first ever challenge, and also one of the first ever Facebook challenge campaigns done in Australia. So the event itself ran through November in 2021, and to take you back to that time, COVID was still running rampant throughout the community, and we were experiencing sporadic lockdowns that made it really hard to organize any event or anything outdoors. So when we were considering what was the next peer-to-peer fundraising we could do in the digital space, we knew we needed a campaign that was quite flexible with COVID, but also something that we could do from within our homes, because it was during a time where a lot of communities were restricted to stay at home. So that led us to the sit-ups challenge, and it was something that everyone could easily do at home. And this idea was also backed by More Strategic and Elevate Fundraising, who helped our team with advertising on Facebook. If we can go, yep, next slide. So these are the 3 challenges we ran at Canteen. We ran the 100 setups a day challenge in November in 2021, and then we did the 5 kilometers a day in March this year, and also the 100-kilometer dog walk in July challenge this year. And across all these 3 challenges, we raised close to $1.5 million to support young people impacted by cancer. And during that period, we were also able to engage with over 18,000 Facebook challenges. So that's pretty amazing for us. And then, yeah, here are some more insights into those 3 challenges in comparison to our initial targets. So as you can see from the setups challenge, we had set some low targets as it was one of the first challenges we ran, and we really didn't have anything to base it off. And as you can see from the final results row, we smashed our targets. We more than doubled the Facebook group members that we had anticipated, and we close to tripled our total fundraising target. So due to the success in the first setups challenge, we knew we had to give Facebook challenge another go. And so we have actually given it a few more goes since. And so our most successful campaign so far was actually our second challenge here, which is the 5 kilometers a day in March challenge, which we did earlier this year. This challenge, we actually achieved the highest conversion rates, the highest average amount raised, and the highest total raise for this challenge, with over $600,000 in income coming through that. And then we had our most engaged and fun campaign, not only just for us as staff, but also for our Facebook challenges, which was our third challenge, the 100-kilometer dog walk. Who doesn't like seeing dog pics and getting emails from an office dog, which we called our good boy specialist? And we definitely think that made a huge impact on the engagement there. So we invested heavily in digital ads, which ranged somewhere between $10,000 to $30,000, and that was really dependent on the challenge and how the event was tracking. And what I mean by that is if the campaign was going very successful, the cost per lead and the cost per fundraiser stayed quite low. We then did invest a little bit more, and that's what we did for the 5 kilometers a day challenge. In terms of ROI, if you're interested, it differed depending on the challenge, and that ranged somewhere between 2.86 to 3.46, across the campaigns. Happy to go to the next slide now. Okay, so we're now going to get into the nitty-gritty of our groups and what we consider our secret sauce in creating a highly engaged community in the Facebook group. And for that, I'm going to hand over to the lovely Caitlin.
Thank you, Lizzy. So going into our 4th challenge now, we've become more and more focused on how we can make sure that we're getting the right people into the group as opposed to just getting thousands and thousands of random people. So we've got a few suggestions here to help you with that process. We very much recommend making your ads and your registration comms more about your cause as opposed to free welcome packs. This will work to ensure that you don't get people joining for just the free stuff and then kind of hitting the road once they've received that free stuff. Where you can focus on the people you're already engaged with is another great tip. So when we're making our for an example of this is when we're making our calls, which we're going into a little bit more in detail with this future slides in the presentation. We call those who have replied to an SMS or to emails previously, and we chat to them about specifically what they've been messaging with us about, because we know that engaged people are more likely to convert to fundraisers and develop really meaningful connections with our brand. Resharing people's stories who are already in the group and sharing their why. This has always been a really great way to build a community, and it really builds a group of people that support and uphold each other. So we definitely recommend doing that as well. And we'd also recommend being as vigilant with your group as you can be, and don't be afraid to remove people from the group where you need to if they break the rules. We take our role of keeping the group a really safe and welcoming place really, really seriously. And there really isn't much point to doing all these other things that we're sharing with you today if the group itself doesn't feel safe for people to share and be honest with. So that's another tip for you guys as well. And we're going to go to the next slide. Thank you. So Canteen's biggest tip for a successful group moderation is to make the time to engage with every post and every comment. From our first ever Facebook challenge, we really made this a priority. And we wanted to make sure that every challenger was getting contact from Canteen as often as they try and engage with us. So in the feedback we get post challenges, feeling supported and encouraged by Canteen is always some of the best and most common feedback to come through. So we love to see it because we do spend a lot of time doing it. When it came to posting ourselves for Canteen's official page, we had a schedule booked up for the challenge, and that had 2 posts per day, 7 days a week. So thank God for scheduling in that sense. In saying that, it is also really important to remain flexible where you can. So we quite often had a number of situations where we had to change up our messaging last minute. So an example of that would be the flooding that we had across the country in March of this year. We ended up pulling the post that we had scheduled and putting up a post instead to really encourage our fundraisers who were impacted by the floods to stay safe. And we had quite a few people who were reaching out at that time, really worried that they weren't going to be able to complete the challenge. So just encouraging and reinforcing that Canteen would never want them to put themselves in a situation where they're not safe, and we really do wish them all the best with that situation. So stay flexible where you can, and be conscious that it's important to be real above all else. We've also done some testing and some posting with my Caitlin Crowther at Canteen Facebook page, just in terms of posts and commenting as well, just to see if that gets any sort of engagement. And we've seen a lot of success through that because people really enjoy seeing that I'm a real person because they get all the comms from me anyway. So that's been some very specific feedback that we've received, is that it's nice to see I'm a real person. And for some extra insights into what we found really engaging for our challenges, and we're actually going to go into a little bit more detail with that further on as well, is some of the posts here. So questions around like, who are you doing the challenge for? What's your motivation for doing this challenge? Posts with assets that our challengers can use. Simple copy posts on colourful backgrounds to really grab the group's attention. So that's what you can see on your screen here. It's the purple background. It just breaks up the feed a little bit, and that can catch people's eyes. Engagement polls and also weekly updates, but we're going to go into more detail with that a little bit further down. Thank you. So for resourcing the group, what we do at Canteen, so in regards to the time that we set aside, we monitor and engage with the Facebook group daily, including weekends. So I'd very much encourage you as well just to consider that it's not just the Facebook group, it's also Facebook Messenger, it's also your email inbox and any other sorts of channels that you have set up. So through the week, myself and my lovely colleague Chelsea, who's on the screen there in the middle, we will monitor the group on average 3 separate times a day, each time taking anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour on average. And then on weekends as a team, we do an hour in the morning and an hour at night, both Saturdays and Sundays. And we have a roster set up to make sure that none of us are doing all the weekend work back to back. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, how on earth do you keep track of all this? How on earth do you stay on top of all this? We are actually really fortunate to have a really wonderful team, which makes up of obviously myself and Lizzy and again, Chelsea. So that's our team right there on that image. Chelsea is actually based over in Perth, and just as a little pro tip, the Perth time difference works wonders for our PM shift monitoring. So she is able to work those 7 till 9 PM timeframes, and that's when we found that our groups are the most active. So that's been incredibly helpful. Our team for the Facebook challenges started with 1 full-time staff member and some occasional support from the rest of our community fundraising team. And yeah, now we're sitting at 3 full-time members, which is really exciting. And here, Facebook challenges, this is how we refer to the group of our staff that have put their hands up to help out where they can with Facebook challenges. So don't be afraid to ask your colleagues to join the group and to engage with content. We find this is a really great way to bring content to the top of the feed. And as anyone who has done one of these Facebook group knows, it's kind of hard to get your stuff seen sometimes. So that's a really good way to do it, just to make sure that there are people commenting and liking. We have a specific Teams group set up for these people, and we will link a post through when something goes live and just ask them to like or comment. And we found that's been fantastic. So don't be afraid to ask your colleagues. So in the way of posts and what we found works best, we have a few core themes that we like to ensure we use regularly, which I'll share over the following slides. First up is bringing cause and impact to the forefront of what we do. We do this predominantly through cause-related posts that speak to what we do here at Canteen and personal stories that share experiences with cancer and with Canteen services. And so this comes through the form predominantly through one of our youth ambassadors who we have pop up through a variety of different areas of our challenge. So for our Facebook fundraising booklets that they get in their welcome packs, quite often through our group, and then through an event that we have during the challenge month. We like to have this one particular youth ambassador come along and share their experience. So that's Leilani on the left and Georgia on the right on the images on the screen. Moving on to our next theme is generating engagement. So we love the 2 options that we have on the screen for you here. Celebrating achievement is a fantastic way to create a team within the challenge. And often we celebrate things like fundraising updates, a certain amount of people in the group, a certain stage of the activity. So 50K is through for the 100K dog walk, for an example. And we very much recommend incentive modeling, and we've done that here because it can be a really great way to convert those that haven't quite gone all the way through your funnel. The real secret to these that we found is to really have fun with them. We all love a good flat lay. We love a good flat lay here at Canteen, but in photos that you're clearly seen having fun and having a good time, they really stand out, and we found that people really engage with those. And we also like to put fun captions to them where we can, where we can just create a really relaxed and fun environment in the group, and we do find that really contributes to a really nice overall feeling as well. And also our challengers will walk away with a really nice idea of our brand and a bit more of a familiar relationship with the brand. So yes, very much encourage you to do that. We do know that branded style posts don't always do particularly well. So yeah, it's fun to switch it up where you can, and that'll obviously depend on your brand and what your marketing team think. And then on to our top tips. So we've got 2 of our favorite examples here for you. This is Murphy, our good boy specialist. As Lizzy mentioned, we love to incorporate him where we can. And we really find that sharing photos of him kind of takes the edge off some of those asks that we make quite often, and it's just presenting it in a really different way. And people also, as Lizzy said, everybody loves a good dog photo. So that always works really, really well. And you'll also find that after a few times of sharing your fundraising tips with challenges that it starts to kind of flop a little bit. So it's great to switch up the presentation of these questions, which is presenting essentially the same topic. So we found this really we found a lot of success through using polls. As you can see on the screen, we've got one there, and we're basically asking our challengers what they're finding really helpful or what they're finding really great with their fundraising. We give them a couple of options, and that's just a different way of presenting these questions that, again, we ask quite a lot, and we regularly try to share fundraising tips. So we very much recommend switching it up a little bit where you can, and getting creative with that sort of presentation. So you really can't go wrong with a good competition in a Facebook challenge. We've done multiple across all of our challenges, and they're incredibly beneficial with getting challengers to use their fundraising pages, sharing content, boosting fundraising, and also more importantly, creating a really fun team energy. And they kind of hype each other up and they really get into each other's comment section, and it's a ton of fun. So we definitely recommend doing that. We have prizes that we give away to winners, and they often include things like Canteen merchandise or donations from some of our really generous corporate sponsors. So there are a couple of examples on your screen from our 100K dog walk in July challenge. These were some of my favorites from the challenge, specifically the first one you can see on your screen. My tip for you with these is to have fun with it again as well. We actually only came up with this competition idea for essentially for creating a meme, because we did get this funny photo of Murphy, our good boy specialist, on a photo shoot that we did one day, and we thought, let's have a bit of fun with it. Let's encourage people to make memes from their own dog photos in relation to the challenge, and we had some great ones. So obviously I'm going to share them with you on the next slide. It'd be terrible of me to talk about them and not share with you. So here are some of them. So when your owner gets COVID and you find out you can't get walked for 7 days, we've got one here. Nothing will stand in the way of us raising money for Canteen. So a tree's fallen in their path and they're climbing over it anyway. And then Millie pretending to be asleep because she heard the human say walk for the 3rd time today. These made us all laugh quite a bit, and they got quite a bit of engagement in the group. So I hope wherever you are right now, you're finding them fun too. Onto the next slide, I've actually have a few more as well because I couldn't help myself, I'm really sorry. Please no more walking, read a book, take up knitting, anything but walking. 100K dog walk by the end of it. There were a couple of dogs, I think they were a little bit tired. Can we keep him, please? So obviously dogs finding sticks on their walks. And that last image there, I hope you can see it clearly, but it's a golden retriever that is getting a little bit confused about a dog mailbox. So when you go on a walk so early in the morning that you start to hallucinate. So again, a lot of fun. Everyone had a really good time with it. And yeah, just the group itself can be a really great space for this sort of thing if you can create a really fun environment. So yes, definitely a tip. So I also wanted to share with you another one from our group in relation to competition. So this one specifically is David and his dog Jimbo. They won our Your Dog's Best Trick competition, and Jimbo very cleverly is able to do maths. So David would yell out, what's 2 + 2? And Jimbo would bark 4 times. And he could do that with a variety of numbers. It was wild. We were all blown away. They raised almost $300, and they were incredibly active in the Facebook group, posting really regular updates. So I think David across the length of the month actually posted it over 10 times in the group, which is fantastic engagement from one individual. They also did obviously an amazing job with fundraising. And then they went on to share the prize pack that we sent them in the group and just said a big thank you for it. And their comment section for that post in particular were a lot of can't wait to hopefully win one in the next competition and those sorts of things. So yes, it can be a really great way to start conversations and really hype up your challenge and all the exciting things you've got going on. So now I'm going to hand it back over to Lizzy, who's going to share some insights into the different channels that we contact our challenges through.
Cool. Okay, so we're starting off strong. We engage with our Facebook challenges through our awesome welcome pack, and we use that as an incentive. So we traditionally send these out to everyone who registers through the GivePanel registration form, where we can get all their information like their address and phone numbers, and then send them the pack. So these packs include a Standing Up to Cancer t-shirt, includes a bandana, a fundraising pocket guide, a daily checklist so that they can track their activities, a thank you letter from the team, and also a thank you card with a handwritten message from one of our youth ambassadors associated with the challenge. And so, yeah, we pack these packs in-house, and they're sent from our Sydney office daily by our team of staff and volunteers. So the welcome pack plays a huge role in creating team energy within our Facebook community. And we always see a huge number of people in the group sharing photos of the welcome packs and hyping up the excitement for when it arrives. Next up, a real staple for any peer-to-peer event is engaging our challenges through emails. So we send our emails through 2 channels. The first channel being an automated email from GivePanel, which takes our challenges through a registration journey. And then we actually move them into an engagement journey during the period of the campaign, which is sent from our internal platform called Campaign Monitor. So throughout the challenge, each participant receives approximately 9 to 11 emails, and that's dependent on when they sign up to this challenge and what segments they fall into. The main purpose of these emails is to engage our challenges because, as we all know, the more engaged the challenges are, the more likely they are to convert to fundraisers. So specifically from our stats from the Facebook challenges, it shows that those who open any of the emails that we sent are 1.28 times more likely to raise funds. And those who click on any of the emails that we send are actually 4.2 times more likely to raise funds. So yeah, I know that seems like it's quite a lot of emails, but we've had consistently quite high open rates. This quarter, we had open rates up to 52.5%. So that shows that we're not actually sending too many emails because people are actually really liking our content. So yeah, our key messaging for our emails are fundraising. So we send them a link to their fundraiser page, we give them tips, but also we make sure we bring back the cause so our fundraisers know where their money is going and where it's supporting and how it's supporting Canteen. One of our absolute favorite ways to engage with our challenges is through phone calls. So we focus on 2 types of calls, and that's our $0 fundraiser calls and our VIP calls. So that's anyone that's raised $250 or $350, depending on the challenge and how many people we have. So why do we call them? Because it actually creates a fantastic opportunity for us to connect with our challenges and create these one-on-one relationships. It also shows them that we're real people and that we're not just some random person like added to the end of an email. Like Caitlin had mentioned many times, people get quite surprised when we actually call them, and it's kind of a surprise and delight when they know that we're real. It also gives us a chance to get insights from the challenger and see if they need any extra support and answer maybe any questions that they might have on the challenge. We found that these conversations are very insightful for us, as if we get kind of multiple questions regarding similar topics, we can use that to guide some of our Facebook content. So for an example, we did have earlier on in the challenges, a lot of people not knowing where to find their fundraiser page. And so we make sure in our content in the following week, we have enough posts to kind of explain how they can find it. And we've even done like screen recording videos to really step-by-step lay it out on how they can kind of find their page. So yeah, these calling conversations are really, really helpful for us to really get to know them and their needs and make sure our content reflects those needs. So calling is certainly the most time-consuming of channels. However, like I've said, we've seen such great responses from our challenges that we speak to, and so we really see value in that. And one of the more recent bits of great feedback we've had that made us all laugh was someone on the phone saying, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe you're a real person." So yes, we definitely value people knowing that we're real human beings. Next slide, thank you. So another channel, we have tried testing is SMS. So we use GivePanel for one of our previous challenges to send out bulk SMSs. So these SMS focused on getting challenges to do an action rather than engagement and building rapport. So for an example, we used it to get people to set up their fundraiser page. For those that didn't register, we got them to share their pics and to share their messaging to their friends and family to donate. So on the screen, you'll see the 4 different examples we've used in the past. We've also, next slide if possible. We wanted to do some more testing in the SMS space to help activate our fundraisers that engage our challenges, because the messages we sent through Give Easy was just kind of one way. So we wanted to try test doing a little bit more of a two-way conversation. So more recently, we started testing SMS through the Conversr platform. It's a service that uses AI to engage with fundraisers quickly and efficiently through conversational messaging. So we only step in to reply to specific SMSs when we need to and when the AI doesn't know how to respond. And I'll show you some examples shortly in the next couple of slides. But yeah, these SMSs are focused on creating a one-to-one relationship and provide an extra level of engagement and getting to know our fundraisers. So for an example, we ask questions like if you can confirm your address, or what inspired you to join the challenge, how confident are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10, and then we have pre-populated answers ready to go. So we're currently just in the initial stages of testing, but so far we're just looking at the engagement rate. We're sitting way above average for their benchmarks. Our first SMS was actually extremely successful with a 70% response rate to confirming your address. And that kind of makes sense because people want the shirts, people want the incentive pack. And so, yeah, that's been a really good engagement piece. And we'll just have to wait until the campaign finishes before we can see the impact that that has on fundraising. But yeah, we're happy to share that info down the line and how that goes. Just on the next slide. So here is an example of the kind of replies that AI sends. So the first SMS conversation on the left is us asking the fundraiser how confident they feel about fundraising. As you can see in the green, the fundraiser responds that their comfort level is 6 out of 10. And so our bot was able to understand that reply, and so they automatically replied some fundraising tips based on that response. So the green, appreciate you letting me know. That whole thing was sent from the bot. We didn't kind of come in for that. So we actually work with Conversr though to generate these responses, and we try to make them sound as much like from Caitlin as we can. And then we kind of take these responses and help use that to guide our phone calls. So especially from that first message on the left, anyone that has a low score under 5, we definitely try to prioritize to call them to make sure we can give them extra fundraising support if they need. Similarly, the example on the right-hand side is just confirming their address. The bot can tell that the address is correct from the response in green saying, yep. And so the bot is able to automatically reply saying, okay, lovely, appreciate your response. So it does feel a little bit more like a conversation and a back and forth message there with the bot. On the next slide, pictured here are 2 examples of responses from our team. So on the left, for example, here we've asked them why they're doing the challenge. And on the left is this conversation of how confident they feel. Now, occasionally the AI can't reply to the SMSs, or if they see or feel that a personal story has been shared, Conversr actually refers it back to us and our team, and then we're able to manage those responses in-house. So for both of these 2 responses, we were able to go into the platform and respond to them individually, and it's actually a great opportunity for us to engage with our challenges again, and we're able to really deal with sensitive content when challengers share their personal experience with us. So it's a great time and a great opportunity for us to be able to send the right message back to them and refer them onto Canteen services if it's needed, and kind of build on that relationship, because you don't want the bot to be like, cool, thanks, if they had shared something obviously very personal about their connection with cancer. So the bot, when they do feel like there's something that they can't answer, it's very easy for us to go in and step in. So they were like a great test with Conversr so far that we've had. Now for the on-page messaging, it's actually one of the services GivePanel offers, where the team can, via the platform, post on our challenges fundraising page and use it as another engagement touch point. So some of the on-page messages we've tried are welcome messages with fundraiser tips, and also thank you messages with kind of a one last fundraising push. Over time, we've gotten more and more creative as we've gone through some challenges. So some tips that we have on on-page messaging is to make sure it kind of sounds like all the other comms that you have, so that it's consistent across emails, SMS, and even on-page messaging. Use emojis, make it fun, make it sound like it's actually a person, and you have this personal relationship when you're kind of texting them. So feel free to kind of have more casual language there. And also, yeah, like for us, we've also shared links to our fundraising assets, as you can see on the right. We've spent time creating them, so might as well share them with the fundraisers as well directly on their page. So there's some of the things that we've done for on-page messaging. And last but certainly not least, we have our Facebook Live Kickoff event, which is another way that we engage with the Facebook community. We've now hosted 2 of these live stream events in our Facebook group, and we personally really enjoy it. We actually stream it through Zoom, which has a function that allows your Zoom account to connect to your Facebook account, and then it allows you to stream straight into the Facebook group. So that's been really good, keeping everything in the Facebook group. So we run through a number of topics in that Facebook Live event. We introduce our team so that they can put a face to a name and again know that we're real. We help provide top-line information about Canteen and their services so that they know where their fundraising dollars goes and how their fundraising helps. We also formally introduce our youth ambassador and have them share their cancer story and also their story of how Canteen has helped them through cancer. And on the screen is our team on the right, and then we have Georgia, who was part of our most recent live stream. We also, in the live stream, share fundraising tips and tricks and help answer any frequently asked questions there, and have a Q&A session at the very end so that people can type in any questions they have and then we can answer them on the spot. So that's been a really great way of engaging, and because the Facebook Live is in the group, the video saves at the very end. So for those that can't make it, we do see quite a lot of views come through overnight for those who might watch it at another time. So yeah, that's all from me. Now moving on to the journey we take our challenges on after the challenge wraps up, and I'll hand it over to Caitlin and she'll give you some more details.
Thank you very much. So post-challenge journey, we really want to encourage our challengers to stay connected to Canteen in one way or another. So there are a few things we do to try and ensure that. We send all of our challenge participants a survey in relation to the challenge post the challenge month itself. And we ask them questions related to their experience through the month of the challenge with the things like comms, with our team, with their welcome pack and other bits and pieces like that. Challenges are then sent emails from our regular giving team in an attempt to move them into that particular funnel before then going into a telemarketing campaign further down the line. We're always looking to test these transfers into different departments at Canteen to really see what sticks. And we're finding a lot of learnings from all of that, which has been really fantastic. In one of our challenges specifically, we saw a 5.3 response rate in converting to our regular giving, which is fantastic and we were really excited about. It's also quite common for us to see our challenge participants pop up in other areas of Canteen, such as making purchases in our merch shop, attending supporter events, National Bandana Day, and also things like our Giving Day. Participants of past challenges are also sent VIP access emails ahead of another challenge in the hope that we'll see them come back and visit us for another one. And we've seen this quite a lot actually. We've seen quite a few challenges come through from previous challenges, and it's actually the best thing because they wear their old t-shirts to the new challenge as well, and so we get to see this collection that they're building. And the image that you see on the screen is our email from this recent challenge that went to people who took part in our previous 100 sit-ups challenge. So we were kind of essentially just saying like, we're back again. We're doing it again. Do you want to come back? And we had a little incentive attached to that as well, which was great. Thank you, Danny. So our current and our future challenges. So at the moment, our 100 sit-ups a day in November 2022 challenge, it's not really performing as well as our other challenges in terms of fundraising, but we still have a really engaged group that we're actually really, really happy with. There's still many posts going up every day. There's still lots of people supporting each other. And at the end of the day, that's all we really ask for. So we're not giving up on Facebook challenges by any means. This is not the end for us. We're seeing a lot of the data coming out of the UK that that suggests that they also have peaks and troughs over there with their campaigns. So we're just going to keep our fingers crossed. And we're going to continue to invest and test and learn this space. We find that find that secret sauce that will hopefully set us up for Facebook challenges as a permanent campaign for us over the coming year. We've actually planned out our challenges over the next 12 months. And like I've mentioned before, we're taking this as an opportunity to test and learn and to find out what works best for us in this space. We're really conscious that this challenge, although we're conscious we're not looking at this challenge as unsuccessful, because we're looking to see other ways that they can convert through to Canteen. So again, areas like our regular giving to our shop, we see it as a really great opportunity for acquisition. So keeping positive, and we're keeping our fingers crossed. And that, I'm handing over to Danni, I believe.
Great. Thank you so much, Caitlin and Lizzy, for that amazing information. So I'm just going to do a quick sum up of what we can kind of learn from Canteen. So one of the things that's come out is this bringing the cause to the forefront of messaging in the Facebook group and sharing personal stories. I would also say that's something that we're seeing is more important in the advertising space as well. I think now there has been quite a few challenges, it's a good opportunity for charities to make theirs stand out by talking more about their cause. Making resource and time available to fully engage in the Facebook group is obviously very, very key. So the Facebook group is really where you want to spend a lot of your team resources. And you can look at outsourcing other areas instead. So the advertising, which is what Canteen does, and also on-page messaging. So actually getting people to send the messaging, which is something which GivePanel can do. So keep testing and adapting. So it's great to see Canteen working on this SMS. That's really great. And to keep pushing the boundaries on that. So if you haven't already got your giving tools active for Facebook, I've just included a link there of where you can go to set them up. And you can also, we'll send these back around. And if you want any support or more information on GivePanel, or also help with setting up Facebook giving tools, because we do have some contacts at Facebook, then my contact details are at the bottom. And without further ado, we are just going to pop into the Q&A. So I'm going to just go through the chat. And if you haven't already written a question in the chat, it'd be great if you can write it in the Q&A function, and then we'll just answer them live together. Perfect. So we've got 2 questions already. I want them just saying how fantastic job it is to you guys. So congratulations. So we have a question from Izzy Matthews, which is, I'm curious, how do you guys manage the challenge of fundraising on Facebook as a platform in terms of donation button go missing, delayed transaction reports, donation issues, etc.? Who would like to answer that?
I can jump in on that. I think we've just had to be, there's not really anything you can do about like Facebook delays. That's on Facebook, that's not on us, and it's not on GivePanel, and there's nothing we can really do about it. So I think we just have to like kind of tweak the content for it. Like for most traditional peer-to-peer events, we might have like incentives, like if you reach $50, you get this. If you reach $500, you get this. And we just know that that's something that we can't do, and we just have to kind of understand. So yeah, there's not much there. In terms of managing managing challenges, fundraising platform, I think it's just having everything set up. I think Danny's given you the link to get those tools set up. Once you get it set up, it's pretty easy to kind of manage that from GivePanel and set everything up. GivePanel provides you with all the data and information, even though it may be a couple of days delayed, it's still there. But without GivePanel, I guess you won't have any information about anybody that's doing the challenge, which makes it really harder for you to kind of get that data and get that insight.
Amazing. So then we've got the questions in the Q&A. So one of them is, what's the timing between the end of the challenge and filtering the fundraisers into your regular giving or telemarketing campaigns?
Sorry, could you repeat that last bit?
Yeah, sure. So it's what's the timing between the end of the challenge and filtering those fundraisers into regular giving / telemarketing campaigns? So how long before they then go into the regular giving conversion?
Yeah, I can answer that too. So our first challenge, 100 setups one, we did it kind of after the fact and thought about like transitioning them. So their first journey was 6 months after the challenge. The 5 kilometers a day one was kind of 3 months after the challenge, and our most recent dog walking challenge was like 2 weeks after the challenge ended, then we put them on the journey. So we've kind of tested the timelines, and I think we realized that the closer to when the challenge ends and you then put them on the RG journey, the better the response rate is.
Perfect. And then the next question is, why do you think the 5K in March was your most successful challenge so far? Was it the month, or was it the challenge being easy?
Do you want to go, Caitlin, or do you want to have
Feel free to add on to this, Lizzy, but I would almost say that at that time, Facebook challenges were still few and far between, or they were just picking up with other challenges. We worked really hard to turn it around after that first November challenge and go straight in for the March one. So we knew there was something good happening, so we just flew and jumped on it. So I think that a part of it was timing. I think with COVID, people were really excited with this new thing to do, this new activity to do on Facebook, and people really got into it. And yeah, 5K a day is super achievable, and people did it in so many different ways. People were riding bikes, they were walking, they were running, they were kayaking. Yeah, it came in every possible form. So I think there's probably a few different elements to it, but I do think that timing was probably a big one too. Lizzy, do you have anything to add on?
Yeah, no, I think you've answered it perfectly. I think the only thing to add is, I think at the start of the year, people are thinking, what can I do to kind of get fit, New Year's resolution, and kind of coming in on that angle as well. But yeah, mostly I feel like everyone had been indoors for so long. It was a great chance to kind of get out there and do some good.
Yeah, that's definitely a good tip around the beginning of the year and people wanting to get fit, because that's definitely something we see in the UK, where they've been doing this for a lot longer, is once Christmas is over and everything, people start thinking about their fitness again. So it's good to jump on that. So a question from Alan is, first of all, congratulations to Canteen on a number of great campaigns. And thank you for sharing. So the question is, was there any brilliant ideas that you trialed that didn't work?
You happy for me to? The first one that comes to mind is we had this brilliant idea for the 100K dog walk, where we wanted to make the VIPs feel extra special. So the people that raised over $350, we wanted them to be recognised quite formally by Canteen. So we came up with this. It was the dog walk, so it was the Top Dog Wall of Fame. Essentially what it was if you raised over $350, we went onto your fundraising page, found a photo of you and your dog, put it onto this wall, and had essentially this massive collage. I debated whether or not to put it in this presentation, because although it was beautiful and people really loved it and it was really well engaged with, there were also quite a few people, because of these things with like data delays and stuff like that, there were a few people that were missed off the dog walk, or they couldn't see theirs on the wall of fame, sorry. And so that actually caused quite a little bit of, not controversy, but just a little bit of different feedback. So and it also took a lot of time for Chelsea, bless her. She spent a lot of time doing that. So it wasn't quite worth it in the end. It's probably still something to think about as like in ways of how do you want to show off your VIPs a little bit more from your brand perspective, but that wasn't it for us. That wasn't the one. Can you think of anything else, Lizzy, or is that a good?
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
We thought it was a great idea. Backfired a little bit.
We felt really happy about it. But yeah.
Oh,
people did love it.
Some people really loved it, yeah.
But I think, that's something that we want to work on a bit more, is our VIP strategy and how we can make them feel very special without making others feel less special, I guess. Yeah.
Perfect. So then we have another question going back to the regular conversion journey, which, do you find the impact of repeat participants of becoming a regular giver? So if they've done a challenge a couple of times, are they more likely to become a regular giver? And also, if they fundraise in the challenge, then become a regular giver, do they then come back to the challenge next year? So I don't know if you have any data on that to share.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have any data on that to share, because we've only literally just done it for 1 year now, and so we can't really compare that kind of data yet, but we do plan to look into that, because we do want to know what the stats are. But we do find that those that do fundraise are more likely, obviously, to become a regular giver. And so for those that hadn't fundraised, we're trying to see if we can put them on like a softer journey and move them through the funnel of like buying something from the shop as opposed to RG, because not everyone works for that channel.
Perfect. So that's all our questions answered. So unless anyone's got any more, now's your chance. Give you 30 seconds to say quickly. And while I give you a little chance to type any final questions, I just want to say a big thank you again to Lizzy and Caitlin and all the amazing Canteen team. So there's also Chelsea for working so hard on the challenges, and thank you so much for sharing. Thanks
for having us.
Perfect. So you've got lots of thanks going in the chat, and yeah, thank you for everyone for attending. And on that note, as there's no any further questions, and we'll end the webinar then. So thanks very much all.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks, Danni.
And by the way, the webinar will
Bye.
be sent around as well. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye
Danni.
everyone.